So now I wanted to take a little minute. As you guys know, JB calls me her teacher, right? So you all are about to go to class now here.
No, no, no. I call you my A plus teacher. Get it right.
A plus teacher.
Yes.
So you all are about to get a little taste of what JB has to deal with on a daily basis, because I'm gonna take you to school a little bit, and AV is gonna get his fair share too. So we want to talk. You guys know I am full of acronyms. We are full of acronyms here at Catch the Wave, right? So our mentorship model is called Empower, right? And we do it a little differently than a lot of traditional mentors and educators, because we like to make it very hands-on and very practical, right? When we are working with JB and AV and the other TPOT entrepreneurs and beneficiaries, we working with them so they are building as they go. Right? It's not an intellectual exercise, it's a hands-on exercise, right? So the first E stands for experience. So in a lot of cases, we want to start out with just feeding people all this information and training and classes, but we say, okay, let's give them the support, and then let's give them what I call an immersive experience. So JB's immersive experience is live with JB, right? We started working with her, and a month later, she was doing her show. So she's getting that experience. AV is just immersing himself in his art, and then we gave it a platform on the Live with JB show. So now he's selling his artwork, and so they started out with the immersive experience, and then the other thing we've been working with them on is the M is for mindset, cultivating a positive mindset, right? So with the experience combined with a positive mindset, we want to kind of get them in the act of doing and experiencing, and then we will be kind of working on the plan. And the P is like plan and practice. So, and a plan is not a static thing, right? We're gonna plan, they're gonna get a little more experience and practice, we're gonna revise the plan. So that's what the P is for. So once we are doing all this, we are also like kind of looking for opportunities, right? So with the experience now JB has under her belt, now she has the opportunity to do certain things. Like I've been, encouraging her to start marketing. I swear JB is the most qualified social media professional in Trinidad and Tobago, with all that training that you guys saw that you got. So so I'm putting it out there that she is ready to take on some social media clients, some sponsors for her show, things like that. AV is already getting a lot of great opportunities. So one of the opportunities that he got is on this platform selling his paintings, and he's kind of starting to feel what it feels like to actually see that money coming in. And then a next opportunity coming up that they just talked about is his private showcase and silent auction. So that's the next level of opportunity. So once you have these opportunities, now you're gonna get some wins. You start getting some wins under your belt, and like when AV, when you kind of sold that first painting to Miss Cheryl, I could imagine how that kind of gave you that boost of confidence. So from the opportunities will come wins, but you'll get some losses too. Like sometimes things won't go well, but those in my mind are still wins because they are learning opportunities, right? So that's the W in Empower. And then with all of that now is when we're going to consolidate it into the education. So instead of how all traditional education system is, start with all this education textbook stuff, we are doing it kind of in reverse. We're going to take all this experience, opportunities, wins, losses, And then you're going to have now some real world education coming out of that. And then last but not least, you always want to reflect and renew. So this is not a, top down thing. Think of it as a circle, right? We're going through these cycles. So, with everything that you're doing, we always want to kind of reflect on what's working, what's not working, where do we go? Do we need to update our plan? And then come up with some new ideas, right? So that's the model that I just wanted to share for the benefit of our audience. But what we want to focus on with you guys today is just the first two steps in this, the experience and the positive mindset. So you guys have been going through your professional development experience and trying to cultivate that positive mindset. So since it's your show, JB, I always like to pick on you first. And I'm going to ask you to share what, from the experience that you've had so far with your Live with JB show, just your professional development, what is one thing, just share with the audience one thing that kind of stands out as something you learned that you are saying to yourself, I'm going to take this forward with me to help me develop and be successful. Can you share with your audience?
Sure, I can. For me, well, basically, that one thing for me, those of you all who probably would have heard parts of my story from where I came from, is a very sticky place I came from, real challenging, trying place. And for me, one of my biggest battle was fighting up with my past memories and stuff like that. I always go back. I always feel angry. I always feel hurt and these type of things. So it's something that I always catch myself being challenging with, right? But during this journey, I found myself telling my cheerleaders, Miss Lina, Miss Ali, and one day we were just having a virtual meeting, and I said, you know what? I will keep looking ahead. I would only look in my rearview mirror only when it's necessary, just to tell how far I really come from. But I wouldn't look back to feel bitterness, to feel hurt, or feel angry, or feel, questionable. But yeah, so basically in going forward, I just want to be focused on my future, the things that is ahead of me. And the only time I look back is to tell you all where and how far I would have come from. So basically that's in going forward, I want to take that with me.
That's amazing.
Yep.
Mentor, Ozzy, Wizard of Oz, what do you think of that?
Yeah, that's kind of very powerful, JB. I mean, every time I look at that video of your story, it's so real. It touches me deeply, very inspirational. I think a lot of people will be blessed by it. And
Thank you so
something
much.
else I see in your case is that, I think you've learned a lot over all these seasons that I've seen you. One of the things I think I recognize is that you now no longer have to figure it all out before you make a step. I think you kind of have a level of confidence now that you could figure this out as you go.
Yep.
And that's a big thing for entrepreneurs. You can't sit down and try to work out every detail before you decide to step in the ring. But what you have to do is to have the confidence to know that once you get in the ring, you have the smarts, you have the sort of inner sense to know how to respond to the punches. And
Yes.
I see that more and more in you every week when you come on here, and you have to wing it sometimes because you didn't
For
expect
real.
this to be happening. And
You
I
know?
want you to build on that. I want you to build on that.
Okay. So I have a surprise guest. You guys will remember him from last
Mr.
week's
Cedric.
show. Mr. Cedric, first of all, we have to wish Mr. Cedric a happy birthday. His birthday is on Tuesday.
Cedric.
He is on the
Happy
way.
birthday.
Uh,
Happy birthday, Mr. Cedric.
I
Thank you so much.
I was planning this surprise for my teapot emerging stars. Meanwhile, Cedric's wife was planning a surprise birthday gig for him.
Oh, wow.
So he is literally in the car going to one of his birthday events, and he still
Oh,
insisted
wow.
that he wanted to come and just give all of both of you guys or two Pride of Tobago emerging stars and
Yes.
entrepreneurs, give you guys just a little word of encouragement to kind of send you on to your next phase. So over to you, Master Sergeant Cedric King.
Hey, I just wanna tell you guys, continue to stay on the path. I'm not sure if can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we hearing you.
I my wife, set up an opportunity for my best friends to come in town, and we're just in the car right now. But we were talking about something earlier about the place that we had grown up from. I grew up in a very, 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 impoverished part of North Carolina, and for me to be where I am right now, there's a portion of me that feels a little bit like I don't deserve it. Have you ever been in a situation where all this
Mm.
stuff is happening and you're like,
All the good
I
stuff,
look
yeah.
where I came from. Yeah, like I don't deserve to be here. Like there's no way. There were people that were smarter than me, and there were people that were better at me than a lot of things. But I'm here, and it's almost like what they call an imposter syndrome. And this is one of the greatest battles that I feel like I've fought. Even harder than overcoming losing my legs, even harder than overcoming, learning to walk again and learning to run again and type and everything. Learning how to be able to handle success responsibly and almost not arrogantly, but like I do deserve to be here. I Not that anybody doesn't, but I do deserve this success. I did work hard. There were sacrifices that were made. And learning how to just accept the fact that you are great. It 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 let's say this, it took work for me. And if you are at that place where you're so glad to be successful, but there's a part of you that feels that like you got it too easily or that you don't deserve it, that is the one fight that you must master, that you
Mm.
must learn to master. And I feel like I have to do it every day. I go to Asani and I talk to Arlene, and I feel like that, like, wow, I don't deserve to be talking to her. She's been to places that I wouldn't able to get in with my grades. There's no way.
Mm.
But this is the enemy that we all must tackle. This is the enemy that we all must wage war and defeat. It's the enemy on the inside. And I think that in the end, really, that's the only enemy that there really is. It's the only enemy that really exists is not the ones that seem scary or the ones that you can see. The real enemy is the enemy in here. But that's the enemy that really only matters. If you can defeat the person on the inside, the voice in the inside that says, you're not smart enough, or you don't have what it takes, or you ain't
Yeah.
pretty enough, or you don't
Mm.
you don't have enough money to be in this place. If you can learn how to overcome that and continue to keep going, I think Ozzy said it best. You don't even need to have everything figured out before you hit the start button. Just go with what you got and what you've been given, and you will win. You don't need to be the MVP to start the football game or to start the soccer game. You don't need to be the MVP.
Very
But if you start, you can be the MVP, and if you don't start, you never will be the MVP.
true.
And I think that that's something that I had to learn, and I continue to learn every day.
Thank you so much, Cedric. I mean,
Thank you.
I so appreciated JB and Avi. Do you guys have anything to say in response?
Yeah, JB, I know we talked last week, but I didn't get a chance to meet Ozzy or the young man that's on the line. I can't even see
Avi.
his name.
Avi
Avi,
Chami.
But I wanted to be able to field questions. Did you guys have any questions that you want to ask?
Well, basically, I don't think I have question, but I could relate to what it is you're just saying in terms of like for me, where I come from, what everything that I have that I would have had, it was always a struggle or a real work hard for, that now
Yeah.
that is a little more ease where I'm getting the assistance, I'm getting the help. I find myself in a position as how I get here so quick? How do I have this? Did I deserve this? Did I work for this? Because I have the mentality of just having to work for it. I don't have the habit of, yeah, this is for you or this is to help you. So I have that kind of questioning moment as, is this really for me? Am I deserving of this? So I could
Yeah,
relate
that
to what it is
imposter
you were
syndrome.
saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I have to. I fight with that all the time, and at some point you just have to go with it and know that you are putting in the sacrifice and you are putting in the struggle, and it does take a fight. But just for you to be here, in this space was a fight in itself. But I think
Yep.
sometimes that we feel like it wasn't hard enough. It should have been harder.
Yeah. Yeah,
But shoot,
custom
it
because
was
that's what they're
it
custom.
was
Yeah.
hard.
yeah, yeah, it was. So Cedric, we'll let you go shortly, but Avi, just by way of introduction, since you said you didn't meet Avi, he's another one of our Pride of Tobago entrepreneurs. He is an incredibly talented artist. I will show you
Oh
some
wow.
samples of his artwork. It is beyond imagination, his talent. Um,
Wow.
and with
Wow.
that, he fell off. But
Yeah.
we'll have another opportunity, Cedric, for you to kind of come back and spend a little more time. I don't want to take up any more of your birthday celebration time, so I just wanted to thank you so much and thank
No
Kaida and my
sweat.
behalf.
I definitely will. I definitely will. Arlene, please let me know if you guys have some open time in the next couple weeks. I won't be able to do the 10th through the 12th, but I would love to come over and
Okay.
be able to stream. We be able to stream to Trinidad and Tobago would be great.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you, Cedric.
Right. Take care,
All
Cedric.
right, you guys.
Thank you so
Birthday.
much.
All right, you
Enjoy
guys
your
take it
rest.
easy.
Enjoy
Good
your
to see you, man.
birthday.
Happy birthday.
All right, you guys take it easy. Much
All right,
love.
bye-bye.
All right. Wow. I don't know what happened to AV. Is he coming back?
Maybe is
Yeah,
back. Yeah. He
yeah,
just came back.
Sorry about that. I think as the rain started to fall, the connection just dropped there.
okay, that's okay. All right.
Yeah, continue the report.
So let's just keep it moving. So AV, what is your one thing that you want to share that you learned or discovered about yourself, about your development that you are going to hold on to and use to propel you going forward?
Well, I believe my discovery will be a discovery of limits to see how far I can push myself, how far I can innovate my art into different categories, and how far I can extend it probably to different countries internationally.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's good. That is awesome. I think that's the one thing you have had the time and space to do. Like every time I see a piece of your work, it has like a different something to it that you're trying. So keeping that innovation in your art is definitely something. And as you know, we have put your art out there internationally and gotten a lot of positive interest, not just from people in the diaspora. We had people from the Caribbean who have been inquiring about your art. So that is incredibly amazing. And then to wrap up, one last thing, is there anything, as we have the Wizard of Oz, it's not often we have a wizard in our presence.
For real. Let's
Uh,
utilize this opportunity.
is there
Oh,
anything that you have a challenge with? And I could help out too, with anything you guys have on your mind. But for your benefit and for the benefit of the audience, is there some aspect of it that you're kind of struggling with or challenge that we could help just point you in the right direction?
Well, what I usually have trouble with is either focusing on one piece at a time or having enough material to finish said pieces.
Okay. Okay.
Mhm.
So
And honestly, the battle of those kind of battles, to me, battle of the mind kind of puts you in a halt position.
right. Yeah. Yeah. So the supplies piece is very something we can definitely help with, and that will come. But the focus piece, Wizard of Oz, do you have anything? It might be that you're bouncing around might be okay. I mean, it's not.
Yeah. I was actually thinking about that,
Yeah.
and and I almost don't want to have you look for a prescribed answer. I
Yeah.
almost want you to figure out the way you work best, because
Yeah.
some people could focus on one thing until it's done. Other people, in between doing this thing, another idea comes up, and you have to hit that idea. You really have to touch it, because it might melt away. You know what I
It
mean?
just feels as if as the idea comes to head, you have to get it out
Yep.
immediately,
Absolutely,
or else you'll
absolutely.
never
I
get
mean,
that idea again.
I'm kind of like that. You know what I mean? So I think I understand what you're going through. So you're trying to figure out which one of these ways you work best and what you need to make that happen. So it's like I always say, this teacher of mine said to me, the most important thing in life is to know what is important. What is important to you? And if it is a matter of translating all of these ideas that keep coming to you, because when you get to a productive place, a lot of things come to your mind, a lot of ideas flow to your mind. And I don't want you to shut them out. But some people might have to. Some people might have to shut them out so they could concentrate on one. Other people need to capture them all. Which one of that is important to you? You want to capture them all and come back at them and make them perfect? Or you want to stay with one, perfect that, and forget, because you'll run the risk of forgetting what popped into your mind a minute ago. So try and find which one of these things works best for you, because I don't think there's one answer for everybody.
Well, what I'm trying to do, however, so far, and I've seen a little benefit from it so far. I have a little art journal where if I have an idea, I'll write down the schematics for
Excellent.
what the idea is, just so
Excellent.
that way I have a basic log of what it is I want to do.
Yeah. That's a great
However,
idea.
even that sometimes get a little jumbled.
Yeah. That's a great idea. I mean, that was something I use a lot in my days managing stuff. I always walk around a little notebook with me, because I'm driving, or you shouldn't write while you're driving, but if something crosses your mind, you jot it down, you tape it or something like that. Because if you don't do it, then you're not gonna remember it with the same passion that it hit as it hit you. So keep a record of stuff. It keeps you moving forward, because you go back and pick them up and take them to the next 40-yard line or 30-yard line or whatever it might be. But for creative people, don't try to constrain that creative energy of yours.
Yep.
Try to record it somewhere, but don't try to keep constraining it, because that to me is what makes you unique, and more importantly, the entrepreneur. And
Right.
one last thing, right? There's a famous Spanish poet called Machado. And Machado said, "Caminante no hay camino, se hace camino en andar." And what he was saying is, Caminante, sojourner, trailblazer, there is no road. You have to make the road as you go. You got to get in the ring and start moving, and the road defines itself. So it's almost, don't look around sometimes for an example. Just be confident enough to be the example.
Be the example. Mhm.
Just be that example. Go in there and just train yourself to be that kind of person that thinks that way and has that kind of confidence. Even if you make a mistake, you would learn from that mistake. And you wouldn't be fearful of making mistakes. Because that holds a lot of us back.
Yep.
We are fearful about making a mistake, what somebody else might think. You don't care about that stuff. You know if something went wrong, it can be so catastrophic, especially if you're in this environment with teapot and catch the wave and all that. Somebody will be there to help you. And as Aline said, this is a practical learning experience. This is not teaching a theory and all that sort of stuff. And part of this practical learning experience is that this forum gives you access to other people with ideas. You may not know these people, but you just have to say the problem, and Miss Cheryl will find somebody. You just say the problem, and Aline will find somebody, and Cedric will find somebody.
Miss
And that's a
Lyons.
big thing to be able to get for somebody like you guys are starting up in Tobago.
Yep. Yeah. So thank you for that, Ozzy. And with that being said, I think we should thank you, because to have somebody of your experience and caliber and insight to be able to give back to the Pride of Tobago entrepreneurs and emerging stars is what we are all about. And like JB always says, it is going to take a village to raise these teapot children of ours, right?
Take the
So
world.
we are very grateful. So JP, you get the last word in terms of what is there a challenge? And don't say the challenge is dealing with your A++ teacher, right? So choose another challenge. What is
Could
that?
I say one of my challenges dealing with one of my A plus cheerleader backstage? I'm just kidding. I love her dearly. Basically for me, one of the challenge for me is, well, the broadcast that you all are using right now is something that I would have figured out, and I operate it. I do everything basically. Nobody is doing it. So I manage everything, right? Like changing crawl, pulling up guests, I multitask. Right. So for me, it's like, this is my talent. This is what I do. This is what I love doing. I love the engaging with people and stuff like that. So for me, the challenging part is, and I have felt it in the earlys, especially when I do a show or kind of in the middle of a show and something goes wrong. It's like I feel so responsible. Like, oh my God, you have failed because the show didn't go the way it should. But so I think that would be one of my challenges. Something that I just really go through. The glitch with behind the scene, because it's like I feel as if there's an error or it don't go the way it's supposed to, as if I have failed. So basically, that's something that I really struggle. I do struggle with.
Yeah, well, most entrepreneurs tend to have the vision in their head, and they know exactly what it needs to look like, and they are the linchpin of the whole thing. Now, as you progress, you will learn how for that failure not to happen. But it's probably going to happen at some point.
Yeah.
And it's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world. And you learn from it. You learn from it, and we figure out how to fix that. But perhaps more importantly, I want you to extend the vision to the next step now. We just went past season 1 and it was fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's a major accomplishment. You would have never imagined season 1 could have
I
been,
can't believe I reached quite 12 episode 15.
Every week you gotta have talent to come on the show, 2 and 3 reveals. I mean, that's not easy.
Yes.
So we need to now think, now that people have become accustomed to the show and a certain quality of show, how do we ensure that some of those things you fear don't happen? What do we need to do to grow the show next, to make it more secure? Do we need better systems, more people? What we need to start thinking that way, because we can't afford for this show to crash. It wouldn't, but I want to make sure we do all we can on our side that it doesn't crash, and people see a smooth show. They don't know all of this stuff that's going on here with you, like a duck.
They have no idea, and I would just be smiling,
Yeah, you look like a duck, smooth above the water, and your feet paddling like crazy underneath. So let's take it the next level. Let's take it the next level. Let's find somebody to help you and advise how we work something out that the chances of it crashing, there's enough redundancy built in that it doesn't.
Avoid it.
Right. I think that is well said. And the other thing is, when things go wrong, it's not, don't take it so personally. It's part of the learning and growth process. It is helping you build that resilience and adaptability to be able to kind of move on your feet and bob and weave. And Ozzy was saying, half the things that you are knowing go wrong, the audience doesn't even know something went wrong. So yes, it's important, and that's why next to wins I put and losses, because things won't always go right.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, if everything always goes right, then no learning and growth is happening.
Sure. Yep.
Because you could only learn when things don't go the way they're supposed to go. So it's all part of the learning and growth experience.
And you're among friends here. I mean, the thing is, when I look at some of the comments that come in to the show on a weekly basis, people want you to succeed.
Yeah,
People
of
will,
course.
people,
Yeah.
people will make allowances for little mistakes.
Yep.
Yeah, because you're operating under stress in a sense, right? We don't have all the resources we need to put on some big fancy stuff, So you're among friends, you're among a lot of goodwill behind this
Yeah.
show. So we just need to
Among my
build on
tribe.
that.
Yep.
We just need to build on that. We will do our part to give you some resources to get this thing secure. And I'm sure, given another season coming up, we will see some other things to do, and you will be way ahead.
No problem. Definitely.
Okay, so this is the end of our little round table chat, but